welcome to Arts Talk. I'm Terri. We've got Bill and Heidi, and sadly, we're missing Cliff this week.
Yeah.
No one to torture me.
I know. What are we going to do without him interrupting all the time and making fun of us? I don't know.
I kind of feel all alone.
Do you?
Up here, I do, without Cliff.
Do you?
Cliff's at a rehearsal tonight for our viewers. The night that we're recording this, he had a rehearsal to do, so he wasn't able to be here for a show that's upcoming. Well, I do find that I'm a little bit outnumbered, I think, but
True.
you know,
I'll
try. You are, and I'll try and behave. You know, I don't want to be Heidi's nightmare.
No. Oh, not that. Oh, no. She's still.
Which was a great show, by the way.
Yeah, I heard.
So,
This lovely cold I have. Sorry.
quickly, by the way, what happened to our fall?
Well, that's what I was just thinking, ironically, as I did this like weird laugh cough thing. Yeah, we didn't have a fall. It went straight into winter.
It just kind of skipped that season somehow for a short time anyway.
And I feel bad for Calgary.
I know, I was feeling bad for us and when I had the first cold and it was really cold, but then when they got hit with the snow, I was like, okay, now I just feel bad for them.
And we should let our Arts Talk viewers know that we pre-record this. So as we record this, Calgary got hit with that huge major snowstorm.
Wild,
Yeah, 10 to 20 centimeters.
I know.
That was lots.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, it kind of looks like fall out there now.
It does.
So maybe we're going to catch up a little bit on that, we hope.
Fingers crossed. It's supposed to be nice for the next few days. So
Thanksgiving is coming up as well, which is good. You guys have any traditions?
We usually go around the table and say what we're thankful for. I think
We do that as well, yeah.
Let's do it right now.
Okay, go ahead.
I am thankful for Arts Talk.
Oh,
That's what I was going to say. that just took away my whole spiel. I'm thankful for you guys and Cliff as being awesome co-hosts on Arts Talk and our crew.
I'm thankful that I got to go last so that I could think of something.
And what are you thankful for?
That
That.
is what I'm thankful for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, lots, so much, right?
Yeah.
Like we know we're lucky. There's so much. I can't even begin to.
There's so much for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Big show coming up. Great show coming up. We have Paul Freeman on.
Yeah.
That should be awesome. This is his exhibit. So this wonderful artwork you see behind us, so we'll get to talk to Paul about his exhibit. We also have Bobbie OConnor coming on, who is the Development and Communications Director for the Edmonton Fringe Festival. So we kind of need to hear a little bit about some of the behind-the-scenes things at the Fringe. We always talk about what's happening at the Fringe and shows and all that kind of thing. So we kind of need that.
And did he see Nightmare?
No, I don't.
Really? I thought Cliff's here. You know, I'm in the clear.
Just as well
I'm
Cliff is not
okay.
here.
It's probably a good thing. But then Bobbie's on site, so he probably would have made it.
Oh, touche.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Moving on for sure. Any other upcoming plans for Thanksgiving other than you guys have?
You know me, I've got some pies to make.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you're baking.
I'm
So, what do you guys like to eat?
You know, everybody's about pumpkin pie. I love apple pie.
I do apple.
Oh,
Yeah,
apple
I do
pie.
apple.
Now, is it turkey or ham?
It's a turkey in my house.
Yeah, or
Stuffing,
turkey as well.
Sweet potatoes,
Yep.
with the candied yams,
yeah. Now,
Good
of course,
stuff.
and Eric, our camera guy, is originally from the U.S., so I don't know if Eric celebrates the Canadian Thanksgiving and the American Thanksgiving.
Let's be honest.
He's back there saying he celebrates the Canadian Thanksgiving.
I would say the smart thing to do would be celebrate both.
That's what I was going to
Because
think.
turkey
I
is
know
so
people who
good.
do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is good.
But that would be tough because you have Canadian Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, then Christmas.
No, that sounds good.
But if you're having turkey, well, I guess if you don't mind having turkey, like 3 months in a
don't.
row, basically.
I don't. It does so many things after, like sandwiches and soup and pies.
That's
So
true,
good.
depending on the size of turkey you have.
Well, if you're
Lots of
cooking it,
food.
you might as well go big because then you can make a lot of leftovers.
And I could see Terri doing that while we're baking.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I do.
we should just do a segment on Terri cooking for Thanksgiving.
I'll just take some pictures. I'll send them to you guys
Sure,
of my craziness.
sure. And we'll put it on
Then we
Arts
should
Talk.
put that on
Okay.
Arts Talk so
All
our
right.
viewers can see that.
All right, sounds good.
So just quickly
How
before
crazy I go for 6 people.
before we get on with the show, just a quick reminder, if you want to be on the show, you can email us at artstalkedmonton@gmail.com. I always mix that up. So artstalkedmonton@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'd love to have you on the show, promote whatever event you've got coming up, or just talk about whatever artwork that you do of any genre. And I'm going to do this because Cliff is not here, and I'm going to do it during the intro. Like our Facebook page. Go to the Arts Talk Facebook page.
That's
Our
right.
street reporters are constantly putting videos up there, things that are upcoming and happening, so go out and check it out. If you haven't liked it, make sure that you like it, or these two ladies will be knocking at your door.
Yep.
And you don't want
Be
that.
afraid.
No,
You don't
wouldn't-
want that. You
wouldn't
really
that.
don't.
Honestly, it's for the viewers' benefit too, because then you find out about these cool things that are happening in the city,
Exactly.
and you can go and see them.
Exactly.
We do all the work for you.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Well, let's get on with the show.
Okay.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back, Arts Talk. Today we have Paul Freeman, who is an independent visual artist, today on the show.
Hey, Paul, how are you?
Hi.
Welcome to
Thanks.
Arts Talk. So, Gallery 501. Before we kind of get into your background a little bit, this is beautiful. Tell us about this artwork.
Well, thanks. I've been working on this body of work for about 4 years.
Wow.
It has a kind of lineage that stretches back to maybe 2005 or so. These ideas, sort of first started coming up in my practice. And yeah, over the course of 4 years, with the help of the Alberta Foundation for the Arts, the Edmonton Arts Council, and my family, my wife in particular, just kind of pitching in when things got crazy. It took a lot of work to get all this stuff up in the gallery, but I'm very, very happy with the end result. And the experience of installing and exhibiting here at 501 has been really, it's been great just to get the work finished and out, but also on not in a material way, but in a much more of an ideas way. I've really refined the way I think about and can talk about the work just in the month between today and the big push to getting everything ready for the show.
So then how has that changed for you?
Well, a lot of the writing I've done about this work previously really focused on a kind of visual metaphor for the province in a way, maybe capitalism in a much broader way, but this basic idea of being overinvested, kind of putting all your eggs in one basket, or maybe connecting to a couple of mythic ideas like Midas and the Golden Touch, or Icarus and flying too close to the sun, and reaching too far, taking too much. And I think that that's still valid. I do, but I had a really important kind of breakthrough in thinking about the work, in getting ready to put the show up. I started getting more and more, not just nervous about is there enough work, and is everything going to look okay and all that, but embarrassed, I would say, is maybe the best adjective. I really started to feel embarrassed by the work and maybe revealed by the work, but I couldn't talk about it very effectively. So I had a really good conversation with somebody one morning about 2 weeks before install in my living room underneath all of these sculptures. We sat and talked, and I had a couple really important thoughts, and one of them was that there's a much more personal layer to everyone's work, I think, certainly to my work. And that's where that feeling of embarrassment started to come from, was this, I'm showing off this part of myself that I don't really understand. And so I didn't feel confident about it at all. But in getting ready to talk to people, doing interviews, things like that, and also just kind of through the process of working and making and really engaging with finishing, I had this moment where I kind of imagined where the work could go next, and that really revealed to me what's going on in this stuff to begin with. So while in the past I've said the antlers of the dilemma is this idea of Alberta's being all invested in oil sometimes, and the boom and bust cycle, and how unwieldy our economy can become. But what I think the work really means is something quite different, or parallel but different and much more personal. If you've had a traumatic past, you can wind up with a whole array of defense mechanisms, coping strategies, ways of living and protecting yourself that maybe were formerly very effective and kept you going and brought you to today. But if you recognize at one moment that all of this stuff that you have built, and maybe at one time were even proud of, you now find yourself to be encumbered with, and you see it, then you're on the antlers of a whole other dilemma, right? If you can see that the things that you've learned to do because you needed to no longer work for you anymore, now what? And that's kind of where the show's at right now. But in putting things together and getting them all up and having these conversations, I've started to see how this body of work can grow beyond this exhibition and move from what some people respond to as a fairly tortured environment. You know, these things are twisting in the air, they're covered in what looks to me today more like raw nerve endings than it does like antlers. I need some more sculptures where these things will kind of, you know, they've kind of tumbled down to the ground on the other side of the gallery here. They'll pick themselves up, they'll shed or start to shed some of these antlers, they'll heal some of these spots, and then some kind of little grouping, whether it's a pair bond or a small herd, but some re-socialized, reintegrated set of animals. That, I think, would take the show kind of full circle and do what I really think my ambition as an artist is to find a way to take these things that I want to express, which are arguably challenging, and turn them into an act of celebration. I think if I, you know, brought those new bodies into this body of work, I could achieve that. So the exhibition's been very, very important to me in terms of helping me think about what I'm doing.
So where did you come up, like how does the process start for you? Like when you're thinking of what do I want to create? It's just such an interesting, it's so visually captivating to look at. Where does the little seed start for you?
Well, when I was doing my graduate work, I adopted a strategy that I've found fairly useful, which is not mine. It comes from an artist named Mel Chan. He's an American. And in those Art 21 videos, he describes being artistically blocked, and his friend says to him, "Tell me what you love to do." And he says, "Well, I love to make things with my hands." Okay, you're going to make some stuff, but you're not going to make any of it by hand. Solves the problem. And I thought, well, that sounds very hard, but also maybe very important. And I had put myself in a place where I was doing a lot of digital work, lots of photocopies and digital collage, and really playing with technology. And so at one point I just said, okay, I love to play with things in the digital world, no more. Have to sculpt, have to draw. And then in the building of some sculptures, I had one piece, a little boy who had sticks growing out of all parts of his body, which I've had a really hard time resolving. But in the end, I felt like it was maybe the strongest piece in that show. One day I was driving to Calgary, saw this big aluminum elk on the side of the road, and thought, oh, that'd be pretty cool. So, I mean, I think that's part of the story that artists often don't tell.
Right.
I just thought it was really cool.
Yeah.
But that impulse and that drive, the real motivations, at least for me, aren't revealed until sometimes quite a bit later. So there's that kind of friction, some kind of tension that I can feel. I don't really know where it's coming from. I just feel this evocation of something internal. It took 4 to 9 years to figure out what really motivated that first impulse.
So just quickly, Paul, and I don't care if we're actually running out of time here really quick, and your show is here from September 6th to October 21st. I just quickly wanted to mention, you're also the artistic director of the Nina Haggerty Center. Can you just give us a real quick little synopsis about what you're doing there and about the center? And I mentioned to you off camera that we're going to have to get down there and do some shooting because it's such a great organization. So what's happening there?
Well, lots, of course, as always at NINA. Right now we're supporting about 200 people with barriers to participation in the arts. Most of those people are people with developmental disabilities, so autism, CP, Down syndrome. We support people who are invisibly disabled. You would not recognize them as having a disability, all the way over to people who've never chewed, never walked, never spoken. So the umbrella is very wide. That means we have a very materials and exploration-based approach to developing an artist. It's not like the conventional art class where we all sit down to learn about the same thing. It's a very individualized approach. And we've just taken some new space out of the old Orange campus that McEwen sold to the city. Yeah. So we have a little satellite space there now where we've got some artists working on shibori, which is a Japanese textiles technique. I've got 2 days a week where I'm working with some artists to develop work for the Jubilee Auditorium exhibition that they've been accepted into. I'm working Thursdays with Amanda Schutz, who's the local Edmonton artist and designer who did a project on lichen. We're exhibiting her body of lichen drawings and paintings and textile patterns, and she's working with our artists over the next 6 weeks to show them how she developed that project, and then we're going to try to take this lichen idea somewhere new with her. So very quickly, that's some of what's happening.
Excellent. My apologies. Yeah, 9 up. Do you have any questions, Terri?
Well, I don't want to
before we
take
wrap
up any more time, but I actually just wanted to say that this is why I love speaking to the artists, because when I first came in, I felt sort of like this tortured aspect from the animals, but I didn't understand the vision, and listening to your words was kind of mind-blowing for me because I totally get it and what you were saying. So thank you for that. It's amazing.
Thanks so much, Paul, for being on Arts Talk.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Really appreciate it. Make sure you get down to Gallery 501, see the show again September 6th to October 21st. Beautiful work. We'll be right back after this.
Learn or pretend to paint like a pro. On Friday, October 12th, you can attend a paint night. Using watercolors as your medium, enjoy painting in support of Strathcona Christmas Bureau, a not-for-profit organization that provides qualifying residents of Strathcona County and area with hampers of food and gifts. It's happening at Cafe Haven here in Sherwood Park on Friday, October 12th, like I said, from 6 p.m. till 9 p.m. The painting art piece that you get to do is a winter mountain.
Upcoming Friday, November 16th, this year at the Fairmont Hotel Macdonald, Giselle Denis, who is an artist who has been actually on Arts Talk. We had her on one of our live shows, and she is a live painter, which means that she paints while there's an audience. So she starts with a blank canvas and ends with a beautiful painting within about an hour and a half ballpark of the time that she starts. She's got this big event happening in the ballroom at the Fairmont Hotel Macdonald, and she would like everybody to come down and be part of it. It's a free event. Runs from 5 p.m. till 10 p.m. She'll be there working. For the past 4 years, she's actually been doing live painting at the Hotel Macdonald for different events and things that are happening. So she's going to have a collection of paintings that she's actually created at the hotel at this event. So again, it's called Stories at the Mac, an art show with Giselle Denis, Friday, November 16th, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m.
The Edmonton Festival of Fear is coming for its 2018 edition. Starting Thursday, October 25th at 6:30, the Festival of Fear is a 3-day film fest at the Haunted Princess Theatre. You can get a 3-day VIP pass, or you can get individual shows, but right now you can get the early bird special for $58, and that 3-day VIP pass will get you the opening night gala, the after party at the Old Town Pub, which is a big Halloween party, as well as access to as many fantastic, frightful films as you can desire.
Sounds scary.
It does, a little bit, eh? And if you're interested, you can go to their website, which is www.edmontonfestivaloffear.com, and you can get more information there. But it starts on Thursday, October 25th, and I think it's an awesome film festival to check out. It's one of my favorites, but I'm huge into horror flicks, so cool.
Excellent.
Check it out.
Thanks, Terri. Perfect. Welcome back. I'd like to welcome to our set Bobbie O'Connor, who is the Director of Development and Communications for the Edmonton Fringe Festival. That is a mouthful, Bobbie.
It is a mouthful. Just
So
call me the guy.
we'll call you the guy.
And what is the guy?
I do some stuff. No.
You do some stuff at the Fringe Festival.
I do some
Thanks so much.
Things. Yeah.
Very helpful. Yeah, so I work on development and communications, so fundraising, sponsorship, advertising, marketing. My team kind of does all those things, and I get to hang out with lots of creative people to figure out how to make it happen, make it come to life.
So how did it come to be? Now, you're originally from the U.S.
I am,
So
dare
how-
I say it.
And so how did well, so is our camera guy.
Yeah.
He's originally from the U.S.
Solidarity.
Yeah.
So how did it end up that you're here in Canada and now you're working with the Edmonton Fringe Festival?
Yeah, so I followed my wife. She was offered a job here, and I said if they speak English, then I can ask for money and communicate, which are the core pillars of my position. So we moved up here a little over 6 years ago. And I've been in the not-for-profit world for over 15 years now, and I actually have a visual arts degree that I haven't done much with most of my life as I kind of moved further into communications and development. And so I had done some consulting and things, worked with the board at the Fringe, and they had a position open a little bit down the road, and thought it would be a good fit, and kind of been a fun little marriage ever since.
So how long ago was that?
That was 3 years ago.
3 years.
So, yeah, so
Okay.
3 festivals under my belt.
And so it's year-round for you, basically. That's how much work goes into prepping for what we see as, just the duration
Just
of
that
the
beautiful
shows.
August.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, so it's definitely a year-round job. So we actually, our home is the Arts Barns, the ATV Financial Arts Barns. And we
Right.
said we have a season, we have some other programming throughout the year, and then of course the big mother beast is the festival.
Right.
But we actually next week launched the applications for 2019 festival.
Already.
We've already opened up submissions for the theme for next year, so we asked the community to submit themes. If you have any ideas, go to our website and submit. The last 2 years were chosen by the community, which is kind of fun.
That is fun.
Yeah, so it really, the minute it closes from a patron perspective, we are already working on
It's right into
next
next
year.
year.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
really is a year-round kind of.
Well, if you think about how many shows are playing, because they're not just like the main area of the Fringe, like they're throughout Edmonton, right?
They are, yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I mean, we have a core in the theater district down in North Strathcona, but French Quarter has quite a few. Downtown picks up quite a few, and then there's usually the scattered that kind of go.
Yeah.
We had our show to BYOV, which Heidi didn't get to.
Oh my
But
gosh.
it was, she missed it.
I'm not going to live that down.
No.
You saw it, though.
Of course, I see
Yeah,
every
no,
show.
I figured you did.
And
Yeah.
all of them were amazing.
Of course, yeah.
All
Except Nightmare was like
27. Yeah. So, I guess speaking of that, so August must be just, I know what it's like as an artist getting ready. For you, it must be just hectic.
It gets pretty insane, and it depends on what team you work on. So we always joke around. My on season is the opposite of almost everyone else's. So right now everyone's kind of debriefing and figuring out, what were the gaps and ways we can improve for next year and all that kind of stuff. And I'm already shifting into where can I sign new contracts for sponsors and get that into their budget before before they pass the new budget for next year, and starting to work on marketing already for next year. So my busy season really is in that. Pretty much now through June, and then I actually kind of start to take a nice little break.
Nice.
But then, of course, everyone else around me starts to get more and more frantic as they gear up for the operational side of the festival. So it really kind of just depends on what area you're serving. So someone is always going insane, and someone usually is able to relax. Me and the finance guy are just kind of
Sitting back
having a little tequila.
and bringing your dogs.
Bringing your dog.
Yeah. And I know
Yeah.
Terri wants to ask you. Go ahead, Terri.
Because I
you
want to
can
know
push
more
about
about your dogs. Tell me
Well, I
about
think
your
they've
dogs.
become kind of the fringe dogs. So I have 2 100-pound dogs, and about a year ago, I was like, I need some way to decompress at work. Like things do get pretty intense. You start to work those 16-hour days. So I started bringing my dogs with me, and thank goodness so far the 20 of us that work there permanently throughout the year all so far love dogs. And it's kind of just become the thing that if I don't bring them for some reason, if the week is really busy, then I think the first question is not where were you at, Bobbie, but it's where were your dogs? So they come with us to the festival. And hang out
What
around
kind of
the
dogs
office.
are they?
They're just mutts, so
Okay.
I think Roddy Shepherd Cross. I'm not sure. They're not sure, but they're well behaved and it's fun. And even we have a lot of artists that come in, of course, to the office to get behind the scene work, and even the artists now know the dogs and come to expect them when they come to visit. So it's kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And it's actually kind of nice. We've had Murray, the executive director of the Fringe, on before on the show, but it's kind of nice to have you on because it gives our viewers, I think, more of a kind of behind the scenes perspective. Because when we have Murray on, of course, we're talking about shows and all of the front line kind of things that are happening.
The glam and the glitter.
But but for all of you, how many people are actually working in the Fringe office? You said you have 20 people that are on staff all the time?
Yeah,
or?
so we've got about 20 staff that are permanent year-round, and then another 20 that are part-time, do hourly kind of front house stuff because through our season and things like that. But then during the festival specifically, we gear up to about 150 staff. So pretty much from May on, as it kind of grows, you just every week there's another 10 bodies that you've never met before or haven't seen in 9 months because they're just coming back for their contract. And so we get to that 150 mark, and that's just staff. And
I was going to say volunteers
we have
as well.
1,200 volunteers, which truly are imperative. I mean, we end up closing down 6 city blocks and erecting 10 venues that were never theater venues before that day, sort of thing. So we kind of build a little mini city, so to speak. And so those 1,200 volunteers are pretty imperative in executing that.
cool, for sure. I know we kind of joked a little bit, but do you get out and see some of the shows?
I'm very fortunate. So my role during the festival is to work a lot with donors who, of course, want to see shows and sponsors. So I'm fortunate that I, by request of my job, get to see a lot more shows than I think a lot of my colleagues do. For most people, like our site team, for instance, I mean, those poor guys work in 20-hour days. Our technicians, they see the same show over and over again, but because they're working a show, they're not out seeing other shows. So the first chance a lot of our staff get to see shows happens during the holdover series that we have afterwards. But for the most part, they're lucky to catch 2 or 3. But yeah, it's hard.
And our time is going by really quickly, Bobbie. So you had mentioned coming up, there's some very important dates. So
Yes.
for our viewers that are involved or like to get involved in Fringe each year, can you kind of
Yeah,
tell us
for
that?
sure. So keep your eyes out next week if you're an artist. Our lottery application opens for outdoor and indoor artists, which is very exciting. And if you're just a community member that loves the Fringe, we are taking an open call for submissions for our theme. So if you have any great ideas on what the theme should be for next year's festival, just go to our website. You'll see a button that you can click. And we're collecting those now. And some fun voting will happen. So if you're a member of our Fringe fan club, which is an e-newsletter that you can sign up for, you'll see an email go out once we close submissions, and people can actually vote on their favorite ones, and that's kind of how we get to the final product of whatever the theme is each year.
Awesome.
So yeah, a couple fun things coming
That's
up.
really cool. So if someone wants to volunteer, is that another way that they could find how to do that?
Absolutely, a very
Okay.
important way. Yeah. So there's information too about volunteering that gears up a little bit more in the spring. But we'll definitely answer questions and engage with you now if you have interest in volunteering. Yeah. There's 14 different teams that you can volunteer with.
Wow.
Lots of different aspects that you can get involved with.
For sure. Well, Bobbie, thanks so much for being on Art Stop.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate it. We're looking forward to the 2019 Fringe.
Yes, number
I'm sure.
38.
Number 38.
38.
And it was what, 227 shows this year?
Correct.
So next
Most
year,
ever.
that's what I heard. So
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see if you can hit that maybe 230 or something.
As long as we can keep the audiences coming out to them, we'll keep
Well,
growing.
ticket sales keep going up, it seems, every year as well.
That's right, 10% higher this year, so we were pumped.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Thanks so much, Bobbie.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be right back after this. We are back. It's that time in Art Stop when we have our panel discussion. I think last show we talked about, do you prefer film over stage? So this time I thought, do you prefer watching a series of some type or movies on television just as being a television station, or do you prefer avenues such as Netflix or other online avenues? Like, what do you prefer?
Who wants to go first?
I went first last time, so I don't want to be the I'll let you start or someone else kick it.
I can tell Heidi's thinking.
Online. Honestly, because I like binge watching. Like I'm like, if I'm watching a show and I really enjoy it, I want to watch 5 episodes. I don't want, or like 3, but I don't want to wait a week for the next episode. So I think like things like Netflix are great, or online. Like on Facebook, you can save videos. I don't know if anyone ever does that, but I usually will save to watch later. You can't do that if it's on TV, unless I guess if you have a PVR. But
You could.
yeah.
And I totally agree. I have kind of moved towards, there's so many, there's Netflix and Crave and all these different avenues out there, and you're totally right. If you get into a show and you like it so much, you want to watch 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 episodes. There's been times where on a weekend or something where you sit down and you'll watch all 10 episodes of the first season or something because you get into it, which television, of course, you can't do that. You have to wait till next week and the week after. And it's nice because a lot of these networks, online networks, are doing their own programming as well now, which is
You're getting a lot
really
more
cool.
diverse programming, which
For
I
sure.
find when you see some of that online stuff, which I really like. Yeah.
And I think it opens up doors for more people to show
Absolutely.
content that necessarily wouldn't be able to on television.
It does. It gives them a little more flexibility and
Yeah.
freedom to tell a story.
Absolutely. And I do think that the majority of people probably feel that way about streaming because you see a lot of the major networks too are now streaming online.
They are.
Almost
Yeah.
all their episodes are available as soon as they're
Yep.
aired online.
We actually at home don't even have cable. We don't have satellite. We don't have cable. We just don't.
Right.
We don't need it.
Yeah, and I have satellite being out on Anchorage as you are.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite often, we're switching over to, again, Netflix or, online programming of
Yeah.
some type, just because there's so much variety that you can see. And I know it's hurting the broadcast market for sure. So those that are out there working in in that broadcast industry. It's definitely hurting it because television, live television, that kind of thing is becoming somewhat a thing of the past as everything moves to being online, such as our program now being online, from television to an online program again. So yeah, there's so much changing, and I'd love to know what our viewers would like. You know, if you want to post on our Facebook page on Arts Talk, what do you prefer? Do you prefer to watch TV, or are you like us? You want to watch a series on Netflix that you can binge watch? And so many of the newest films are getting on to even Crave and Netflix and a lot sooner than they used to now as well. So if you didn't have the opportunity to see the film in the theater, it's not long, and it's all of a sudden it's out there.
It seems like it's made things more accessible to people.
For sure.
Absolutely. Like growing up, I used to have to wait for forever to get the movies because it was too costly to go, and it was too costly to buy them when they first came out. But now, like you say, you know, Netflix, I think ours is maybe $10 a month, so it's a lot more accessible to get that stuff for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I being a big collector of movies, and you know, I still will tend to go out and buy, you know, the Blu-ray and that kind of thing when it comes out. But the nice thing about having it online is if it's a movie, say, that I'm not sure whether I'm going to enjoy it or whether I want to spend the money to go and buy it or buy the Blu-ray, I can watch it. And if it's great, maybe I'll still go buy it because I want to watch it again. Or I might watch and go, yeah, sure, glad I didn't spend the money.
Right.
And you're right, like I find there's movies sometimes that I probably wouldn't have watched if I had gone somewhere to rent them, but then, you know, you've sort of hit your quota of what you were planning to watch, and you're like, okay, well, what's left? And then you sometimes come across these gems from people you would have never found if you hadn't been on Netflix.
You know, and I'm going to throw another
Crave,
thing into the mix, is that you guys are going to think I'm crazy. We actually don't have internet at my place either. Although I do still watch online data. But also the library and going and taking out movies.
Yes.
We do that
Absolutely.
so much.
That's another great avenue.
Yeah,
Oh,
we do that. Like that's probably our main way of watching film.
And they've got, especially out here in Strathcona County,
Yeah.
I'm sure all the Edmonton libraries are the same, but such a huge selection.
Oh, it's awesome.
You know, and they get a lot of the latest in as well. You know, once they come out on Blu-ray, you can find them pretty quick out of the library. That's another great option.
Even the here in Sherwood Park, the library, I think the Edmonton Library as well. They have an app called Hoopla.
Yes.
And you can download and watch off your phone.
Exactly.
Yeah, or listen to an audio tape, or you know, it's awesome.
I agree.
Yeah, there's just so many ways now, so you don't have to be tied up sitting in front of your television, you know, for hours on end. And I think it's great even with family programming, especially for the kids and the family. The kids don't have to be crammed in front of the TV for 2 hours. You know, they can watch a half an hour program on whatever it is, whether you've gotten it from the library or Netflix, then they're done. If they want to go back and watch one later on, they can do that, but you're not tied to sitting in front of that TV. You've got a choice to when and where and how you want to watch these programs. Which I think is
and the convenience factor for everybody, right? Like I've got kids, you've got kids, people work. Sometimes you can't sit down and watch your show uninterrupted, but when you're streaming it, it's just whenever it's convenient, right?
Yeah, well, I think it's such a great avenue. Like I said, I know it's not good for those that have worked in the broadcast world. I know a lot of people in the past, you know, even 2-3 years that have lost jobs now because of the way the market is going, both in major networks, you know, that have been laying off, even in the news departments and that kind of thing. So that part of it is tough, but I think there's so much more that can be done, you know, online. Like programs like we're doing with Arts Talk, and you know, it just opens up such an avenue for people, and it gives them again choice, you know, to what you want to watch. You know, YouTube, again, so much on there. I was watching a few short film comedies just the other day on YouTube. I just went in and thought, I want to see, you know, what's out there for short films. You can go on and, you know, and Story Hive has a YouTube channel, so you can go on there and watch trailers. Some of the Story Hive, you know, films obviously that have been awarded, you can go watch them on YouTube, and it's kind of a neat thing.
Just stay away from the what is it, the weird side of YouTube? There is some weird stuff.
Oh no, for sure. You have to be careful. You have to again know what you're looking for.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
For sure. But again, it's just another avenue where you can see some different programs.
Everything. You can hop on there. Like I'll hop on there sometimes for like an icing technique because they've got like a how-to section, and it's like anything I want to try and create, I can watch someone do it instead of even trying to read. It's more visual, and then you can go recreate it. It's awesome.
You got it.
Yeah.
All right. Another good panel discussion. Again, if you're watching the show, go to our Arts Talk page. Tell us what you think.
Tell
Some
us
comments
a
on
panel
that.
discussion idea.
Yeah, give us,
If you're
tell us
tired
something
of
you'd
us
like to
comparing
hear.
things, you
You'd
know.
like to hear us talk about, argue about, disagree about.
Yeah,
Do that.
yeah, exactly.
Right. Be right back. We're back. Look at this beautiful chair.
It's amazing.
Made by Paul Freeman, who we just had on the show. This is his whole show here at Gallery 501. And again, we want to thank Brenda Barry Byrne, the curator here, for having us at Gallery 501 in Sherwood Park. Come down and see the show. He's here from September 6th to October 21st. Come and see Paul's work. Well, ladies,
And thanks to Bobbie, too.
thanks to Bobbie
Yes.
O'Connor
Stop
from
by
the
from
Edmonton Fringe
Fringe,
Festival.
yeah.
Yeah, that
That's
was
great,
great. Cliff, too bad you weren't here. Look
He
what
would
you
have
missed.
loved this
He
chair.
would have loved this chair.
Yeah, he would have sat in it like immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I think I want to take this home.
I know, don't you feel like a strength sitting
the
here?
man
Yeah.
cave.
Yeah, I did too. See, I sat in and I instantly felt powerful and thought, I want to punish my children sitting in this chair. I feel like it would be effective.
Yeah, Queen Terri is saying that.
Right.
Yeah, it's as Eric mentioned, it's like a Game of Thrones
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, you just want to, you feel the control when you
You
sit down
do.
here. There's an aura of power
There absolutely
that
is.
surrounds it. Beautiful chair.
Beautiful.
All right, we'll be back in November. Make sure to like the Arts Talk Facebook page.
Do it.
Get on there, check it out, make sure you like it. The link for the show will be up real quick.
Give us your suggestions
Give us
of
your
things you'd like to
suggestions.
see, whatever.
Panel discussions. Again, if you want to be on the show, artstalkedmonton@gmail.com. Send us an email. We'll be happy to get you on as a guest, show your work, have a discussion about what's upcoming. If you've got something that's coming up really quick, we can get a street reporter up to see you as well and cover the event that way.
And don't forget about our Instagram page. Is it
Yes.
Arts Talk Edmonton?
You
Yes.
don't know it.
At Arts Talk Edmonton. That's it.
Instagram. Yeah,
Yes.
check it out. All right, great show. Again, thanks to Gallery 501 out here in Sherwood Park. Make sure you get out here and have a visit.
Absolutely.
We will see you in November.
See ya.
Bye.